Welcome to the Functioning Griefster, a podcast about grief, love, and the legacy those we've lost still leave behind. I'm Alexandra Spencer, a sports and holistic therapist and a grieving mom to my son Declan, my best friend, my sunshine, my soulmate. Each week I sit down in the back of Dec's van with someone from the club no one ever wants to join. We cry, we laugh, we swear, and we honour their stories, uncovering the powerful bonds that even death just cannot break. There's no script, no rules, just honesty, heart, and a lot of courage. This podcast is part of my one-woman mission to challenge the taboo around grief, especially when someone dies too soon. I don't believe their name should be buried with them. Their voices still echo through us. So if you've ever felt like you were thrown into a cold, dark ocean with no rescue ring in sight, this is the place for you. So grab your life jacket, you're not alone. Today's episode is sponsored by Love, Loss, Disco Balls. Have you ever struggled to get the right card for someone after a loss? One that says more than a generic "with sympathy"? For something that really shows that you see them. Love, Loss, Disco Balls creates cards for the moments words often fail. Bright, bold designs with truly thoughtful messages. For grief, for the hard days, and for everything in between. Because life is colourful, even the painful parts. Explore the collection at lovelostdiscoballs.com and send a little light when it's needed most. So today I'm joined by Esther, who is the very proud mom of Brianna, who I think a lot of people will have heard about. Some may know parts of her story. Obviously, you're the person that knows her best. So, tell me about your beautiful girl.
First, I can just say thank you for coming all the way over to Warrington to speak to me. And yeah, so but Brianna, she was an absolute ball of energy. Like when she was little, she was always flicking around everywhere, and as she got older, she was so sassy, and she was just if Brianna was in the room, everybody knew about it. So she was really one of a kind.
Mm-hmm. In your family dynamics, for a few years, it was just you and your two children.
Yeah, that's right. Until the children were about 7 and 5, I think it was. Mm-hmm. It was just me and them. And we were extremely close-knit. And my children were my absolute world. And it was just under 2 years between my eldest and Alicia and Brianna. And they were really, really close. When they were little, they would argue a lot. But as they got older, they became a lot closer and a lot more tolerant and caring of each other.
Yeah. I'm the oldest of 4.
Right.
So and I'm from my mum's first marriage. Mm-hmm. So there's like a 5-year age gap between me and the oldest of my siblings. And yeah, it's when they were younger, and it's that kind of sibling dynamic. Mm-hmm. You know, it can be hard at times. Mm-hmm. And then being on your own as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I'm gonna say it was a difficult time, but it was also like one of the best times of my life as well. And just sitting in Dec's van now, I'm just thinking of like how when I used to go out with my two, and I'd have like one in the front and one in the back. I could never have them both in the back together because it'd just be fighting.
Yeah.
So I'd always have to make sure that they were split up.
Yeah.
But it really was like the best time, and like I've got so many like lovely pictures and fond memories of back then as well. And I think that sometimes when you are a single parent, it does strengthen that bond because you're all that each other has got. So it's
I get that. Mm-hmm. Because for most of Dec's life, it was just the pair of us. And it does, you're right, it just seems to, I think you rely on each other in many ways, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. You really do. And yeah, I like took strength from my kids, and like it's really, I think you become kind of the reason, your reason to be, because it changes like your whole word, like it just changes you as a person when you become a mum. And yeah, you are that they are the reason for you actually being here, because everything that you do is for your kids.
Exactly. And I think when you're a young mum as well, as we both were, you grow as a parent as they grow. So you just kind of grow as this little unit, this little team. And there is something quite unique about that.
Yeah, definitely.
So what was the favourite thing for you three to do while you were still a three?
We used to go to like National Trust places together, and we'd go to the beach and to the park, and actually around the park that we're at now. So I've lived in Birchwood in Warrington for most of my life as well. So we'd come over here. The school that they went to is just around the corner. But yeah, so it was actually this weekend I went to a place called Speak Hall in Liverpool, which is National Trust Property and Gardens, with my husband. And I've got this lovely picture of Brett and Alicia just outside the hall. Like they've both got an ice cream in the hand and wellies on the feet. And it's it's a picture that I really love. I took a photograph of it and I said, there's your wall to Alicia. And I think when you see things like that and you experience things like that, it's kind of bittersweet, because you know that it makes you realise how much something else is missing.
Which can be quite, like I said, it's very bittersweet, it's quite painful. And I want to say there, you just mentioned your husband. So the three became a four. Whilst both your kids were they both at primary school?
I think they were at primary school, coming towards the end of primary school, and Wes came into our lives, and he's such a supportive, brilliant man. He really is so good to us, and with Wes, he never came in as like a kind of father role. It was more like it was my boyfriend, and like I was the one, I was the mother, I was like nobody else disciplines my children. Like that was like my job, and he kind of took a bit of a he kind of went to the side a little bit and just was there to be supportive, really. But and I appreciate that for him as well, from him as well. So
There's another thing I noticed, another man's name came into that conversation, Brett. So can you tell me who Brett was?
So Brianna was born Brett on the 7th of November 2006, and so Brett lived as Brett until the age of around 14, and then came out as being trans and blossomed into Brianna. I suppose sometimes I've said in the past that I kind of felt like I was grieving two children, because like Brianna was quite different to Brett in some ways. But she became Brianna, and like also at the beginning, like after losing Brianna, I was really worried about using the name Brett. But I've spoke to like my trans friends, and they've said that actually, do you know what? It's okay, because you can celebrate both Brianna and Brett's life. And yes, now I quite openly talk about my young child being Brett.
So from what I know, Brett was very much into gymnastics. Can tell me just another few things about Brett?
So Brett was very hyperactive. very into gymnastics. So it's initially Alicia that started gymnastics, and then Brett decided that he wanted to get involved as well. So she taught him some of the moves before he actually joined the gymnastic class. And there was no stopping him. So we would go to the Asda, and it'd be just doing flips and cartwheels down the aisles, and it was just completely uncontrollable, really. And he will get up to mischief in school. It was never naughty as in like being nasty and naughty, just very hyper, wanting to play with his friends. He couldn't stop him from talking. When I used to always not understand why he was like that until I wrote my book and then realised, oh, actually, I was the same as a child. So I think it very much took after me. But he was just an absolute bundle of joy. So, like for example, he had asthma and he had like really poor eyesight, and we used to have to go to the doctors quite a lot. And when he was leaving the doctors, he would ask the doctor for a hug. So he was just absolutely so full of love.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, beautiful child.
So it must have been very tricky for this young mind to navigate, first of all, being attracted to the same sex, and then feeling that actually I was also born in the wrong body. Were you guys quite open about how it felt for Brianna during that time?
I suppose like during the time when she was transitioning, she had so many other issues that she was dealing with, such as like issues with mental health, anxiety, like isolation, being stuck to a phone screen, that when she came out as being trans, it wouldn't have been, and it wasn't a big issue for us as a family.
Did you already know? Like, did you already have a feeling?
No, I didn't. I didn't know. Like I knew that Brett was gay, but I didn't really know much about trans people or yes. So it was all really quite new to me. But like one thing that I was worried about was the medication, because she eventually wanted to have medication, so like puberty blockers and like estrogen, and
so was her plan to have surgery eventually?
I don't know whether she was going to have surgery, but that was one thing that concerned me. But other than that, as long as she was happy, then I'm happy. I was happy, because that's all we want as parents, isn't it? Just for our children to be happy, and I think that's our job, to ensure that our children are happy.
And that's it, to just love them for whoever they are, whoever they love, whoever they want to be,
just unconditionally.
Exactly. And I think especially for people like us that have lost children, we know just how valuable they are. And from talking to you, I'm getting the feeling you're the same as me. You didn't need to lose Brianna to know how incredibly special she was to you. The bond was already there. Just like Dec and I, we already had that. And it's a shame that not everyone has the respect for their children, because they are irreplaceable.
They are. And I think that people's lives are so difficult now, and people are so busy, and even when I was younger, so I when I left the children's dad, I actually turned to drugs and alcohol abuse, and I had a really difficult time. And at that time, I resented being a mother, and I really, really did struggle. And it took that I had to get out of that really black hole, that bad situation that I was in. And then as soon as I did manage to pull myself out of that, then my heart was just so full of love for them. So I just I think that we are supposed to love our children unconditionally, but then sometimes people's different situations, what they're experiencing in their life, what they have experienced, it can impact that. And I think that it's so important that we focus on preventing like poor mental health, and focus on preventing drug addiction and all of this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. It's like this is like one of the reasons for all of the work that I'm doing, because of what I've experienced and what
Yeah.
Brianna's experienced, and understanding that it's not always easy. And even though we are supposed to be a certain way, for some people it can be difficult. And
Yeah, I feel blessed that I just had this maternal instinct that it didn't matter I was 16.
yeah,
It just seemed to kick in. But I always wanted to work with children. You know, I was always classed as the mother hen. So I do feel blessed that I just had that connection straight away. You know, and like say family parties, quite often I prefer to be with the kids than the adults. You know, I'm just that type of person, so I'm quite lucky in that respect. That I never had any challenges in that way.
Yeah. I think that this is it, isn't it? It's kind of like what have we experienced, and sometimes, so it's like, for example, I used to, I hated myself so much for the way that I was, and it was something that I regretted, and it didn't help me. And this is why, like, I started practicing mindfulness, and then that helped me to have empathy to myself and compassion, and realize that actually, do you know what? The reason why I was that way was because I was hurting. And yeah, I think that this is like, because I'm like a massive advocate for mindfulness. I want to get mindfulness into all schools, and also with the community interest company. So I'm really like jumping the gun here, but the community interest company that I set up. So we've developed a program called Flourishing Families, where we go into primary schools and we deliver sessions to primary school age children and their families as well, or all of that, like a holistic approach to
That's the
well-being.
thing, isn't it? It's not always natural to some parents, and some parents do need guidance. You know, not being ridiculed. They need that guidance, and it's working from the ground up, isn't it? In you know, supporting parents, supporting children, to try to, instead of, okay, I've got mental health problems, here's some antidepressant, trying to actually, like, obviously we can't prevent everything, but trying to make life as easy as possible.
Yeah, that's it. And like what we do is it's a holistic approach to well-being, so it's covering different areas like nutrition, exercise, sleep, gratitude, nature, and community. And like all of these different areas have mindfulness at the core. But it's like we kind of just expect everybody to understand about nutrition,
and not everyone does, do they?
No. And I suppose it depends on like your upbringing, what school that you went to, and I think that if we get parents to learn about this with the children as well, then it's like even kind of stronger. Because I was thinking that we want to get mindfulness into schools to give children the tools that they need to cope with life. But what are we doing for the parents? And if you're teaching children and then they're going home to a family that maybe doesn't understand, then it's we need to get the whole family involved. And like I say, just thinking about what would have benefited me when I was a young parent, and I kind of really needed that community and that support. And hopefully we can give other parents and children the things that I feel like I could have benefited from when I was younger.
So talking about nutrition, mindfulness, I'm aware that Brianna had a spell in hospital because of her relationship with food. So we might have listeners that are experiencing that themselves, or have children that are experiencing that. Are you okay if we look into that, what your experience yourself has been?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before about the issues that Brianna was facing, she was self-harming and she had an eating disorder. She restricted her eating that much.
And what age did this start?
It was around 15. Yeah, the last 2 years of her life, she was really struggling. She was self-harming. She had an eating disorder. She restricted her eating that much that she ended up getting admitted to hospital, and she was in there for about a week. At that time, mine and Brianna's relationship was really, really, like, we were really struggling. We were, really, really bad. So she was doing about 3 hours a day in school. She was refusing to go to school. She had like a really chronic phone addiction, so she just would not come away from the screen. She was isolating herself, so that her Brianna's last Christmas she spent alone. She wouldn't come to her grandma's house. It was a really, really difficult time, and I didn't know what to do. School didn't know what to do. And it was only after Brianna died that I actually found out that she was accessing social media sites. I think it was X, which was formerly Twitter, that was encouraging her to restrict her eating and was encouraging her to self-harm as well. I knew that she was addicted to her phone, and I was always concerned about who she was talking to on the phone. There was a time when I woke up at about 2 o'clock in the morning to go to the toilet, and I noticed that there was a light on in Brianna's room, and I thought she quite often fell asleep with the light on. So I tried to open the door, and she was sat behind the door, and she was on the phone, and I didn't know what she was doing. And it concerned me that much. And at this point, like, I was absolutely at my wit's end, and I emailed the teacher. We were having team around the family meetings at school. I was working very closely with the school around all of Brianna's issues. And I emailed this teacher, and I said to her that at the very top of the email that I'm afraid I'm going to come home from work one day and find my children raped and murdered because of what she was doing online, and I couldn't monitor it. I couldn't manage what she was doing, who she was talking to. If I tried to take her phone off her, we'd have holes in the walls.
Really?
And it was a really, really difficult time, and that's another reason why I think we should get mindfulness into schools, and why we should make the online world safer. I think that we shouldn't be giving children smartphones until the age of at least 14. I think we should ban social media for under 16s, and phones should also be banned in schools. And all of this again is because of my experience, and I think it was, for me, it's such a shame that the last 2 years of Brianna's very short life was full of suffering, and she didn't deserve that. We didn't deserve it as a family, and I think that no family and no children should go through what Brianna went through.
So in your opinion, in what way did social media play a part in her choosing or deciding? Was there any bullying that was making her feel that she was overweight? Like, in your opinion, how did this spiral into hospitalization? Like, was there a particular trigger?
No, so there was no bullying. She was never overweight. She was always very slim. So you have like social media sites got Thinspo, and you have people that are posting pictures of themselves.
See, this is new to me.
And they encourage each other, and you don't know who's behind these sites. You have no idea at all. They'll post pictures of themselves with the spine and the shoulders hanging out, and it'll be
stuff
like
that we find really worrying. If someone's that thin, they see that as being perfection.
Because it's a site that's got all of these different people with eating disorders on, and the thing is that if for young people, if they're searching diet culture, or I think social media can tell if you've uploaded pictures and deleted them, like if you because they can tell that you're not happy with your image. So then the algorithm will start feeding you.
No way.
And then once the algorithm starts feeding you like diet culture and like Sephora and all of this kind of stuff, then it's like a slippery slope. And then before you know it, like I think Brianna was probably, I don't know this for sure, but I think that this is what she was into. And then she started getting fed more and more extreme content until she got to a point where she was almost like, you go to Slimming World and you encourage each other to lose weight. You're then on this site where you're encouraging each other to be skeletal. And I think the other thing is as well is that quite often So there is an influencer, can't remember her name, and I don't think I should say it here anyway, but there's an influencer who is very, very severely anorexic, but she gets lots of comments and lots of likes. And Brianna, more than anything, wanted to be TikTok famous.
Right.
So she was seeing this and seeing how she was getting all of this attention and thinking that this was something that she would be able to do.
Because what I'm hearing, and please correct me if I've misunderstood this, is that Brianna was quite vulnerable.
She's very,
and I can't even imagine what it must be like being in a body that you feel you shouldn't be in.
mm-hmm.
So then to know you should be female,
Mm-hmm.
and then for your female idols to be that type of person, and you're as vulnerable as Brianna is. Like, am I understanding that right? That potentially, created this. Like, I'm just trying to put myself when I was 15,
Mm-hmm.
and thankfully back then the people I looked up to were like All Saints and the Spice Girls, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That were all very like girl power, love yourself, but none of them represented kind of anorexia or anything like that.
Mm.
So I can only begin to understand how it must be for youngsters nowadays, and then having the complexity of transitioning on top of all of that. Like, I think I'm just trying to understand how it must have been for her.
I think for our generation, we would go into the shop and we might see magazines where it's got airbrushed people and look at this person there covered in cellulite, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like imagine that but ramped up like times 100. So this is what young people are going through now, and I think the difference is as well is that they're being fed that constantly 24/7. They're on their smartphones for up to 8 hours a day, sometimes even more, and they're just constantly scrolling and constantly being fed that they're not enough. They're not good enough. They're not enough. They're having all of these what's the word when you filtered, all of these filtered images of people's perfect lives and perfect bodies, and that's without even talking about like all of the harmful stuff that's on there as well. So yeah, it's so difficult.
There's one person that stands out when you say that is Vicky Patterson.
Mm-hmm.
She will put her gorgeous pictures up where she's had makeup artists and everything, but she will say, this isn't how I look. I've had all of these professionals helping me. And then she'll also put when she's in bed with no makeup and the health issues she has. And she'll say, this is the reality. So she shows both sides. And I think if more celebrities, more influencers did that and showed the reality, like, do any of these young people that are showing the anorexic world as being positive show what it does to their teeth, for example, or how it affects their fertility? Do they ever say the negatives, like biologically what it does to them?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But I think at the point that Brianna was at, it was kind of past that caring anyway. I think that possibly through that she also got involved with the sites that were encouraging self-harm as well, and people encouraging kids to put videos and pictures up after they've harmed themselves too, and
oh my goodness,
so it's a very, very, very toxic world. And like I say, it's just, and it's a shame that Brianna had to experience all of that before she passed away. And just on that as well, like one of the children that took Brianna had also been accessing the dark web and was watching torture videos And that was like one of the reasons why she wanted to take Brianna's life. And I think that we're kind of underestimating the influence that the online world is actually having on young people.
That's it. It's the influence it's having.
Yeah, and it's essentially going to change society, and this
Yeah.
is why it's so important and why we really do need to do something about it.
Definitely. And is my understanding right that the kind of catalyst for this was lockdown and the inability to see her friends that she had known for years, and almost becoming more reliant on this screen as being a friend?
Yeah, I think that was the case for quite a lot of young people. It was being forced into that online world. And I was a key worker and I worked 30 miles away from home. And it was impossible for me to monitor what Brianna was doing. And yeah, I think that a lot of young people, like not just young people, like adults as well, like life kind of changed really, didn't it? Like we do so much on Teams and Zoom, and like everything's kind of online now. But yes, so that was kind of where it seemed to stem from. But I don't think that we as society are changing that either. I don't think that the government did enough to kind of rectify
there's a lot of damage being done. A hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But just going on to the social media side of it, I also know that Brianna got a lot of joy from posting and being able to be her feminine makeup artistry self, and gained a lot of love from doing that.
Yeah. I think that was also a bit of a battle between me and Brianna, because I didn't think I wanted us to be living in the real world. As I mentioned to you before about looking through some archive family chats, and literally once you scroll a couple of times, it's I've got 6,000 likes, I've got this, and it's like,
so did it become a little bit obsessive?
It was definitely an obsession. It really was. As I said, like she wanted to be TikTok famous, and she would do like get ready with me videos every morning, so I'd be shouting, hurry up, we need to get out of the house, and she's like, Mom, I'm doing a live. But it's like, but all of this kind of stuff, like at the time, like I was so naive to it, like, oh, I'm doing a live, like you don't realise that she's actually gone live on social media, and absolutely anybody can be watching. Watch a child getting ready in their bedroom. So it's but it did bring a joy, and she did want to there was actually a part in the messages where she said that I think it was a TikTok had been deleted and she was gutted, and I said, well, you can start a new one full of positive content then. Like, because I just wanted her to kind of use, because I think at one point she had a lot of followers, and I thought she can use this for something really good, and I kept trying to encourage her to do that. But I think sometimes the more you tell your child to do something, the more they'll push back. And Brianna was also diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and ADHD as well. So I think part of that was a bit of defiance. So
and I think sometimes, like, I can't speak on behalf of people with autism, but I know with ADHD, or definitely the type I have, your natural self-esteem can be incredibly low. So you need that gratification from others to make you feel that you're worthy. And I suppose if her followers were giving her that, she's going to go for them rather than her old mom.
I think, and I do think that is it. And I think like part of what Brianna was diagnosed with was obsession as well. So she would become obsessed really easily, like how she was when she was younger with gymnastics. She was obsessed with that, and she really excelled in it. But then she was the same as well with social media and wanting to get those likes, and the encouragement from other people, and but it just completely took over her life really. Like she would, when she was in school, she would kind of skip lessons to go and film TikTok videos in the toilet, and it was really impacting her education as well. So it really just kind of impacted every single area of her life. And I took a phone away from her for a couple of weeks. I think it was during the summer holidays when
I bet you were hated.
I was hated for the first 2 days, and then I felt like I got my child back for a bit.
Yeah.
Because she was like, a phone like made her moody, and she was grumpy with me, and she was, like I say, she was constantly on it. So yeah, like the first 2 days she was like, I want my phone back, I want my phone back. And then when she realised that, no, actually I mean this, like, she started to relax. And I think we went away, I think we went on holiday, and it was just like the best holiday ever, because even though she was older, like Brianna, like we were saying before, Brianna was really, really like young-headed, and she was just a child. And I just felt like I had like my baby back, really. And it was really lovely. And I just wish, in a way, that I would have done that more often, or just took a phone off her completely. But this is the difficulty that we've got as parents now. Like, our children, we feel like our children need phones, and everybody else has got a phone. And if you take their phone off you,
peer pressure, isn't it?
Yeah. And because so many children are socializing online, you're essentially isolating them even more if you take the phone off them, because they've not got that online community as well. So I think for parents, are in a really, really difficult spot.
And I'm aware that Brianna used that very phone the day it happened to tell you she was struggling.
Yeah. So Brianna had never got on a bus before by herself, and it was something that I was worried about, because she was going to college. She's going to be starting college. She was in the last year.
So was it anxiety that stopped her getting buses before?
Yeah, probably. And just that she never actually, like, she never left the house. Like, she never used to go out. So
really?
She was a proper home bird. Yeah. And she sent me a text message of a picture of her feet on the bus, saying that she was scared. And
Brianna's 15 at this point.
No, so the day that she went, so she was 16.
So she turned 16.
Yeah. And she said that she was scared, and I texted her back just saying, oh, like, it's well good. I mean, it's good that you're on the bus, thinking, do you know what, she's gonna be okay, and she's gonna be able to get to college, and move forward in life. But that was the last time that I saw her, and I don't know whether she saw the message. But
So what happened after she got off that bus?
I don't really go into this.
Okay. Anything you feel comfortable in sharing?
Yeah. No, I don't talk about the day that she died.
No, that's absolutely fine. We'll just take a minute there, because I want to remember everything you told me about this sassy girl. And I've watched your documentary, so I know that her favourite colour's pink, and she loves things that are fluffy. And, I really want anyone that's listening to this podcast to just visualise this beautiful young lady that you've described your daughter being. And through unthinkable things that we're not going to go into, her life was cut short. And you have turned that, unthinkable pain into something so beautiful in Brianna's legacy that any child would be proud of their parent for doing. So the Functioning Griefster podcast is all about love, loss, and legacy. And obviously your love for Brianna is endless. And the loss that you've endured and continue to endure every day isn't just painful, but it's traumatic by the way Brianna was brutally taken away from you. And the heart of this podcast is for people to feel safe, to be able to share their stories, to be able to share their grief. And the fact that right now, this isn't something you can talk about, what happened that day, because it's too traumatic. This is real. This is grief. There might be days you have strength to do it. There might be days that you want to shout from the rooftops what happened. There'll be days where you might feel angry and sad. That's the reality of grief. It's not linear. It's all over the place. and it's messy and it's sad and it's loud, and you have every right to be how you feel in that moment. So if anyone's listening does want to know more about Brianna's story, you can literally just Google her name because it was so widely reported. There was also a big connection to social media. And people can look at that if they want to. But also the main focus about the podcast is their legacy. And that's what I feel we need to talk about. That you've endured something. No parent should lose a child, full stop. To lose a child in the way you did is just, it goes beyond comprehension. And the fact that you've now used that to try to help other children as well is just phenomenal. So can we talk about that process? How do you go from court cases and everything you had to endure to writing a book, to setting up a CIC? How's this happened?
So when it was Brianna's funeral and we were asked whether we wanted flowers or donations, and like I really wanted to think, like, I knew I wanted donations, but I wanted to think hard about what did I actually want the donations to go to. I didn't want it to be.
Can I just ask? Because one thing I noticed in watching the documentary that I'm quite curious to know, the nation took Brianna under their wing, especially the trans community. And I am curious to know how it feels as a grieving mother when you are grieving in the spotlight. Like, that must have been quite tricky.
Yeah, it was really difficult. And at the beginning, so at the very beginning, when the police were coming round to the house, they said that they needed to go to the press with it. And like my instinct was, no, I don't want to. Like, why? This is personal. I don't want everybody to know our business. I don't want, like, this is for us to deal with as a family. This is what we're grieving. Why does the whole country have to?
Yeah.
And like, cause I'm quite a private, quiet person, and it was so difficult. And then soon after, I noticed that. So I didn't look at the media. I don't really watch the news anyway, and I was off social media. I was just completely just in my little bubble, trying to like grieve and take care of myself and take care of my family. But then some of Alicia's friends were sending like screenshots of vigils that were happening in the UK. And there was vigils that were held. Like, there was a map, and you could just see all of these vigils. And then also in the US, so it was the children's childminder, actually, from when they were little. They said that their son was in the US, and there were vigils being held there as well. And it was like it should just gone completely global. Like, I still get messages from people in Germany, and and just me seeing that, because Brianna wanted to be TikTok famous. And like, I was just like, oh my God, like, Brianna would actually love this. Like, I hate it, but this is for Brianna.
And so many people knew her name. Like, I know Sam Smith actually wore a headpiece that said her name.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get that. I thought I need it in a room, because she's got so many little trinkets in a room that has a name
if
on it.
anyone knows Sam, like, I know it's a long shot, but Sam, you honoured this girl. Her mum would really love that.
Yeah, Brianna wants it in a room.
One thing, you just touched on something that hasn't came up in any of my podcasts before. Bedrooms. Is Brianna's bedroom the exact same as that?
No, it's not. Brianna's bedroom was a mess before. That was another massive argument point. So when Brianna passed away, I a bedroom was pink before. Everything was pink. Brianna absolutely loved pink. This is why everything that I do has to be pink. And so her room was like pink and fluffy. She always wanted a pink fluffy rug, which I wouldn't let her have because she always spilled everything all over her floor. But yeah, I went in and I gave it a new lick of paint. And yeah, she's got a pink fluffy rug now.
I was about to say she got a pink fluffy rug.
Yeah, she has.
So for non-grieving parents, can you try to explain, or can we discuss why we still have their bedrooms? Because I know people have said to me, why? Like, why have you not changed that into, because it's downstairs, why have you not changed that into a dining room or a snug? I've not even changed Ed's bedding. Like, he'd only had it redecorated about 9 months before he passed away. But everything is the same. And if I'm going to watch something that I know Dec and I would watch together, I watch it in there. Because his TV in his room is the same size as in the sitting room anyway. But for you, what's the significance? Why do you choose to keep Brianna's room the same? Or the new improve, the 2.0 with the fluffy rug?
Yeah, so it's a little bit different. I've kept all of the things that remind me of her. Like, for example, she's got this elephant statue that's got eyelashes and red lips, so she's painted the lips with nail varnish.
Nice.
And all of this kind of stuff. But also, so we didn't actually bury Brianna or bury her ashes. We've got her ashes in a bedroom, like exactly where she used to be on a bed. Like we said, her bed isn't there anymore. We've got a table, but her ashes are where she would be. And I think, for me personally, and I don't know if you're the same, but it's somewhere where you can still feel close to them. Like, Brianna was such a home bird, and she was always in a bedroom. And yeah, I remember a friend saying that Brianna wouldn't want to be buried in the mud with the bugs. And in a way, it was kind of I think it was like a bit of it was comforting to bring Brianna's ashes home. She's in like a casket with the pink sky and clouds on, and it felt like I was bringing her home, and now she's where she should be. And it's somewhere where I can go and can feel like I'm with her. And like, I keep thinking that maybe should I do something with the room? And I live in a council house as well, so I don't own the property that I'm in. And I keep thinking that I want to move, but then that, like, it wrenches at my heart because I feel like I'll be leaving her.
I identify so much. So I'm in a housing association house, and we've been there for 15 years. And we always saw it as home. You know, it wasn't, oh, it's housing association. You know, we treated it like home. So much love has gone into that property. You know, even the garden, we had landscape. That is our home. But Dec and I always dreamed of moving to the sea. And now I struggle being in our local area without Declan. Like, I can't go into his favourite coffee shop because I can't go in there and not order him a sausage sandwich and a milkshake. So I can't go in. And I find it really hard. And I would really love to move away. And if I could literally pick my house up and move it, I would. At the moment, my heart cannot leave his bedroom. And all the bits around the house that have his story. And it's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah. And I've said exactly the same thing to Wes as well. Like, I wish I could just pick the house up and go somewhere else. And like, I relate to you as well with when you go to places that mean something, that where you went to with your child as well. I'm just thinking, I've got 2 horrible dogs that fight all the time, and my husband's got bit the other day. Like, he ended up having to go. I said to him that I was like, oh, you're absolutely fine. And next day he woke up with a great big bleeding of a hand, and he was in hospital for like 23 hours, and then got sent to A&E. But it was at the A&E where Brianna, the hospital that Brianna went to with the eating disorder. And I walked in, And like we'd go to the Costa after she had her appointments.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I ended up breaking down, because it's like that. You can see that they're not there. Like this is where I was with her, and yeah, it's like those like bitters. It wasn't really a good time, but yeah,
it is, isn't it? It's the little things that can come and smack you around the face when you are not expecting it. You know, it can be in the safety of your own home. It can be something that comes on the TV. Even a random smell. Like I remember I was driving and one of the songs from Declan's funeral was Harry Styles, and it came on the radio and I nearly crashed because it was like, and it just, cause it was sign of the times, because the lyrics was just so, it was as if it was written, you know, there was other songs as well. But the fact we had been to watch Harry Styles at Wembley only a few weeks before he died, you know, I knew, you know, that was a song. And then we had the Beach Boys. God only knows we were listening to the Beach Boys when Dec died. But I now can't listen to the radio because if I want to listen to a song that triggers me, if I'm feeling I need to, because I feel like I could cry, or if I feel I just need those songs to feel closer to Dec or anything, on my terms is fine. When it's forced upon me, when I'm just minding my own business like driving, it can sideswipe me. And I've changed so much as a person since losing Dec. You know, what would you say has been like the main way that grief has affected you? Because I've heard so many stories now from different people, physical effects, emotional effects, mental effects.
Sure, like in the first few months of grief, and I feel like I seem to do like this was another thing that I realised when I was writing my book, because like time is so warped. I think when you've been through trauma and you've lost somebody, like you can't
time holds no relevance anymore. Does it?
No. But like I started doing things quite quickly. But for the first, I'd say like, I think I went back to work after 3 months and then realised actually no, I couldn't stay, because when I was in work, I'd get up to like 5 phone calls a day about Brianna's behaviour in school. And I remember being sat there and I just thought, I'm not getting any phone calls. And that again, like, is something that is these things that make you realise that they're not there and can't, like, I can't, I ended up, I had to leave my job. But yeah, like I'd say like the first 2 or 3 months, I was in a complete haze, like just trying to get through like one day after the next. And then even actually, because I think I launched a campaign to get mindfulness into schools in September.
Was this the September of the year Brianna passed away?
Yeah. So it was like relatively short amount of time. And like when I look back on like interviews that I did, and I thought, I just feel like, I wasn't well. I wasn't. Like, I feel like only now am I not coming through it, but I'm becoming me again. And I think that to answer your question about like how has grief changed me, I think it's made me stronger, and it's made me, I don't actually give a shit anymore. Like, it's like how I feel, me being anxious about going on TV and talking about something that I'm passionate about, I don't care about how that's making me feel, because do you know what? I just need to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that losing Brianna, but not losing her, actually carrying her every day in my heart, has given me the strength to do things that I thought I would never be able to do. And I just don't really, I don't give a shit anymore. I'm just going to do it. And yeah, I feel that she's just given me so much strength, and she was really, really strong, and she didn't care, and she was defiant and would say anything to anybody she wanted to, even the teachers. So it's like, I kind of feel like I've got that from her now, and that's probably from carrying her with me. And like I don't feel that she's gone. I feel like she is here and she is with me and she is the driving force behind everything that I do.
So, like with that campaign, because I know you even met the Prime Minister, didn't you? So, what's that actually about? What is it that you're hoping to achieve, and where's it up to so far?
So the initial campaign is the Peace in Mind campaign, which was I wanted to get mindfulness in schools. I think I might have started talking about this before and then ended up going on to something else. So yes, when Brianna passed away, I needed to think of a charity to raise money for.
Yeah.
And I chose the Mindfulness in Schools project, and one of the reasons why I did that was because I'd already practiced mindfulness for about 9 years, and
so are you actually like an instructor, or is it you just practiced it on a personal level?
Yeah, just on a personal level to help with. So when my two were in primary school, I ended up, I think I was about 30, and then I went back to college as a mature student. I was working and I had the two kids, and I was studying as well, doing an access to healthcare course to become a nurse. And I was really struggling with stress. And that's how I happened upon mindfulness, and like it really helped me, and it helped me focus. It helped me with that stress, my eyelashes were falling out, and it helped me so much with that. And it also, so I always had a tendency to ruminate, like overthink, and have quite negative thoughts, and it helped me to to stop that.
So you really know firsthand the benefits of mindfulness.
Yeah, definitely. And so that was one of the reasons, but another reason was because I saw some comments online. So I was keeping away from the news as much as possible, but it might have been when I was like researching like charities, and I saw an article about Brianna, and I saw some horrible comments on the post, and I thought to myself, do you know what we need? We need people to be more mindful. We need people to be more mindful of what they're saying to others, and how the consequences, how their words are affecting other people. And so I'm sorry. So it was my water bottle. So I decided to. I was thinking like, how are we going to get as many people as possible to practice mindfulness? And I thought, well, if we teach it in the schools, and you've got that like captive audience,
and that's when our brains are like sponges.
Yeah, especially in primary schools as well, and they're so receptive to things. So I searched for mindfulness in schools, and I happened upon the Mindfulness in Schools project. And I emailed them. I've actually got the email. It's in my book. I wish that I had it now so I could read it. And I didn't realise that I actually mentioned about the online world and it being toxic and stuff in there too, because so this is the mindfulness in schools project and the Peace in Mind campaign. We're currently working in Warrington now, so we've got over 100 teachers that have done the training, and we're using Warrington as a beacon town to show like how the rest of the country can do this. And then that's led on to other campaigns like around online safety and and setting up the CIC. So this absolutely so much. I'm thinking, where do I actually start to? But
I think it's, well, speaking from my experience, like with this podcast, X-Rolling Bucket List, like trying to complete his bucket list that he made, it's all trying to almost fill that void, but with beautiful things that are going to help others as well.
Yeah.
And like with the Peace in Mind that has now changed its name, literally, was it yesterday that it changed? It was
Friday. I don't know what they were on, but it was last Friday when we changed the name. So it was Peace in Mind UK. And we've changed it now to Brianna Ghey Legacy Project. So if anybody does want to have a look at the website,
please do. The link is down below in the description.
Yeah, so it's briannaslegacy.org. And I decided to change the name because initially I called it Peace in Mind UK because I didn't want what happened to Brianna to kind of taint things or for people to feel that emotion if they come in to have a mindfulness session or anything like that. I didn't want them to come in thinking about what happened to Brianna.
Okay, yeah.
But then, like, just recently I've been thinking that, like, Brianna is the driving force behind everything that we do.
Yeah.
And I remember Brianna for who she was, not for what happened to her.
Yeah.
And I think other people can do the same. And I think that for me, it's really clearly obvious that everything that we're doing is because of Brianna, and she is always with me, but maybe not for other people. So that's why I decided to change the name so that she's like at the forefront of everything that we do.
Literally the beating heart of. So if someone goes onto your website, what can they expect?
So the website, it just has some descriptions about the work that we're doing. I do actually have to update it. That's on my to-do list.
It's a never-ending to-do list, isn't it?
It is. It really is. But so we've got like the Flourishing Family session, which I spoke about before.
Yeah.
We've also, in September, we're launching a program called Look Up and Live, which is an educational program for parents and students, secondary school students, around a little bit around the harms that are online, but also like the attention economy and actually, you know, you're being used by social media companies. Like, it's not a free product, you are actually the product.
Yeah.
And what can you do instead? So like giving children different, just letting them know that there are different opportunities. Like, you can get a part-time job, or you can go to one of these brilliant youth zones that we have as well, and actually do something fun and worthwhile with your time rather than scrolling and basically like wasting your life. So and also like any campaigns that we're doing as well, like that will be on there when I've updated it.
And the book. So you've written a book.
Yeah.
When did you start writing this?
So it was published earlier this year, and it took about 6 months to write. It was a very quick turnaround. And in it, I go into quite a lot of depth about my life, as a young mum, the mistakes that I made, the issues that I had growing up, and also the same about Brianna as well. So all of the issues that she had. I speak about the trial and what Brianna went through, like at the last moments of her life, and we talk about the online world, and it's very, very in depth. In January we've got the paperback coming out, so I'm hoping to have some extra stuff in there about the campaign work and all of the work that we're doing at Brianna's Legacy Project. So
and what's the book called?
The book's called Under a Pink Sky,
which is lovely. That is such a beautiful name for a story that's quite complex, but beautiful in its the heart of it.
Yeah. Well, Brianna's favourite colour was pink, and like soon after she died, we had lots of pink skies, and at lots of significant points at the end of the trial, we had a pink sky, and I took comfort in feeling that was a sign from Brianna to let me know that she was okay, and that she was in a better place, because she'd been through so much suffering, and I really did feel that was her letting me know that she's okay.
So in Brianna's legacy, what would you like to see happen?
I'd like a world where no family and young people are suffering, where we reduce like the onset of mental health issues in young people, and where we kind of just live in the real world and community, like have a real sense of community as well. Like everything that Brianna went through, I just want to see the opposite of that. I don't want anybody to go through what Brianna went through.
And I have absolutely no doubt that with Brianna by your side, you're going to fight and fight and fight to try to make this happen. And I really hope from the bottom of my heart that people listening will get on board. And what I've found in doing these podcasts, especially the ones that have included online safety and that culture that is kind of alien to me is just how risky it is and how parents need to understand it more. Although that's also really difficult because we weren't brought up with it. So, you know, it can be really hard to do. But there's mums like yourself that are literally turning your pain into trying to help others and to not ever have to experience the pain of losing your child. And I just thank you for sharing your story. I know you've shared it a couple of times, but I think we've touched on a few things today that are slightly different, that hopefully will have helped other people. And it's given you an opportunity to talk about Brianna and more just about who Brianna actually is and who she is still in, because she's your daughter. She's part of you.
Yeah, and we carry them with us with everything that we do, don't we? And it's our job. It was our job to look after them and love them, and it's our job to keep them and realise.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And next week, I will be joined by Amanda, who similarly lost her child through the unthinkable thing of teenagers taking the life of a fellow teenager. So join me next week when you can hear all about her son, Ollie. Now, I know today has had some triggering topics, so please look after your heart and take care. This podcast is in honour of my son, Declan, and for anyone else out there who's lost someone they love, I see you, I feel you, and I hope in some small way this helps you feel a little less alone. Keep your heart safe. Until next time, I'm Alex, the Functioning Griefster. And don't forget to follow or subscribe. Your support helps this podcast keep going.